Hello! So I wanted to show you my ancestry results, but first, let me show you what my guess was. This was my educated guess based on my genealogical research, and so I made a pretty big tree. It has, I think, 1,700 people on it now. Anyway, so this was my guess. I knew that I would be 100% European, and if that was going to be different, that would be a huge shock. But yes, I am very fair-skinned, and all of my family is, and so and any history that I've known has been European, so 100% European. So I thought it would be Poland, Hungary, Slovakia would be a large portion. So my mom's side is basically all of that. That's all they are, is different Slavic countries mixed together. And my dad has a little bit of Polish also. So I thought that that's going to be my main one. Then Germany, so Germanic Europe. I thought maybe Austria would come up in there, I don't know. But yeah, so Central, Southwest Germany, I expected that. I expected maybe some France. This location though, this specific ancestor came from Alsace-Lorraine, and I think I'm saying that right. Don't judge me, I'm trying. And that specific location is kind of a region where it went back and forth on being France or Germany, and some people speak French and some people speak German, and so on the records that she was on, half of them said German and half of them said French. So that was confusing at first, and then I realized where she was from, and it made more sense. So I thought maybe a little French would come up, maybe that would be grouped into Germany. Irish, so there was Irish on my father's side, and I expected that. I expected a good, strong Irish amount. And then I thought English, Welsh, and Northwestern Europe would come up, but only Holland, the Netherlands. It would just say Netherlands under it. That was my guess. And then some settlers that I thought maybe, like some groups that it would group me in is what I thought. So if you saw my other video, you know that I had a shocking result, kind of. So my results are mostly what I expected, but there were some surprises, and some of it was missing that I thought would be there for sure. And you can go see that story time because it explains into further detail why that is. Anyway, so when I did a live video of me reacting to my results, but it was really dark and I was kind of overly shocked and weird because the realization was setting in that something was off. So I'm not going to post that, but let me show you my results. Okay, so I popped open my results and I was like, whoa, because I just did a glance over and was kind of surprised. So let me show you my full results. Okay. I don't know if that helped, I think. Anyway, here. I have to do this on my phone. Don't have the most up-to-date technology. Okay, so it was 50% Eastern Europe and Russia. So let's click on that. Sure. So that made sense. It was Czech Republic, Hungary, Moldova, Poland, Russia, Slovakia, Slovenia, Ukraine, Belarus. That made total sense. I'm like, yep, that's right. And it put me in some specific groups. And what was really cool was you can click on them and then you can go through this range of years, and it'll actually show you the ancestors on your tree and where they were from, and then their migration over. So if I click on 1925, you can see. So there's one of my ancestors, and they mostly settled in like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, from there. And so that's cool. It just tells you, a synopsis about the region. There's one for the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, and Lithuania also. And the same thing, kind of that area. So that's pretty cool. And then the next one was Baltics. And if I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know what that specific region was. So I looked at that and I was like, wow. Like Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. And I didn't find any records or any information about anyone specifically from that region, but, people move. Just because someone's born in Poland doesn't mean that all of their ancestors were born in Poland. So that came up, and that was pretty interesting to figure that out. Makes me want to do more research on that. And that is 14%. So 50% Eastern Europe and Russia, 14% Baltic, and then I got to 14% Scotland. Now this was one of the surprises, if you saw my other video. I never had heard of anyone that was Scottish, and I was kind of thinking, well, it could be the Irish people intermixed with some Scottish people, like there was that whole potato famine thing where people were fleeing and moving and whatever. So anyway, Scotland, Northern Ireland is what it came up as, 14%. It's like, okay. Then Ireland, also 14%. I thought it was interesting that these three were exactly 14%. So, interesting, because I think a great-grandparent would be 12.5. So anyway, it's just interesting how it's grouped. So then there's the Ireland, and I'm like, why is that not more? Like, again, it could be the Scottish, but it was strange. It was what kind of, it was really surprising. So 14% Ireland, that makes sense. Then there's 5% Welsh, which I don't know where that came from either. That was surprising. That was, wow. And very specific Welsh. So not any other part of the United Kingdom there, like not England, just Welsh, just Wales. So that was interesting. And then 2% Norway, and this is at the point where I started realizing there is no Dutch, there's no Netherlands, there's not even Germanic Europe. What? And like it was really surprising, like to have one of them not be there, okay, but multiple ones when there was such a long history. I had researched back to like the 1500s, and it was just strange to me that it wouldn't be on there at all, Anyway, so then we got to Norway, which was 2%. Thought that was pretty cool, out of the blue, but cool. So that says Faroe Islands, I think that's how you say it, Iceland and Norway. I think they just can't distinguish really Norwegian versus Icelandic. So they just kind of put them together. I think there have been people inhabiting Norway longer than Iceland, you know what I mean. So cool, some Viking blood, I guess. And then European Jewish, 1%. That's it, 1%. So that was cool. I mean, I wondered if I would have any European Jewish, and I think it's awesome. I wish it was more. I don't know, I just think it's cool. So I've heard from that it's from my mom's side, and that there was my mother's family, it was in that line, and they actually converted to being Catholics, so that's why I didn't really know about it most of my life. And I think 1% means that the primary person that was full Jewish would be like, if there was one, at some point, then it would be 7 generations back. So gives me, I'm just going to do some more research on that. It's been difficult for me to do my genealogical research on people in that area, in, Hungary, Lithuania, or Poland, all that. It's harder to find records, and so I'm not sure if that's going to be a dead end, but I'm interested in finding the Jewish people in my history. So that was pretty cool to find out. And yeah, and so let's look at where it is. So you see it has some Germany in it too, but this is again my mother's side. So the Germany and like Netherlands or whatever, anything that could be grouped into that. It's not Dutch Jewish that's on my father's side. There's no Dutch that came up. So again, it's only on my mother's side. So interesting. So those were my results. And yeah, later we found out that my grandfather is a different man. And that is why my results are different. So you can go watch that video, but sorry if that's a spoiler if you haven't seen it. But yeah, the Scottish, Irish, and Welsh, and the Norwegian, I think, were all that side. And then a little bit of wait, no. I'm trying to think. So my dad's mother's side has some Polish and some Irish, and then I guess his actual biological father is part Scottish and Norwegian, and we don't have that Dutch that we expected. So, see my communities. Pretty cool. I can pinpoint on the map where all these ancestors were in these locations. It's pretty accurate. And then I have 14,000 total DNA matches. Just pretty cool. And that is it. So if you're like me, it's interesting to see other people's results, and I hope you enjoyed. Until next time. Hey, one more thing, and I swear, shut up. So if you watched both videos, if you watched my story time, finding out about having a different grandfather, and this one, maybe this would interest you as well. I wanted to show you my top matches. So these are my DNA matches on Ancestry. The top one is my half-sister, 1,951 centimorgans. Awesome. Then the second range is first cousin range. So there's an actual first cousin on top, 1,016. Then an actual first cousin second, 896. The third one is this half uncle in question. So you see it's 872. Look how close it is between the first cousin and the half uncle. So you could see how easily one could miss that and just assume it is a cousin. Maybe even if you don't know the name, you just gloss over it. Maybe you are trying to do genetic genealogy and figure out a mystery, and you aren't thinking about all the possibilities that a centimorgan match could be. So, there you go. There's an example for you of how Ancestry groups cousins instead of giving you all the possible, instead of leaving it open. And so then there is, in the second cousin range, his sister's child, I think, is right there, and then a cousin of this half uncle is on there as well. So that is that, and then you can see my top matches. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Actually, until next time.